Good morning, everyone. This is Christopher D. Greif with Deborah Greif, and I know Joyce Levin's here as well. Before we start the meeting, there are housekeeping rules. We need to make sure that the meeting is being followed and on schedule as well, and making sure everyone is on mute so we can make sure. The housekeeping rules is very easy and makes it very simple for everyone. So I'm going to start with that first, and then we'll start the meeting as scheduled. People are on the computers. This is very easy for everyone. In your main menu bar, which is, I call it a bar because my bar is on the PowerPoint. And as people are coming in, that's very good. The bar is very simple. You have a mute button, a camera, and the next one is management participating. That's a little
Sharon
bit.
Shields.
And we welcome Sharon Shields.
Glad to hear you, Sharon.
Right now, as I said to people, once you click on that, you should have it automatically. You should click on that. That's one way of, you will see in the bottom, you raise your hand. You can also, sometimes there's other funny devices on it. You can use that as well. But the very important thing is once you see this sign says raise your hand, you can please make sure you guys raise your hand. So we will see that on our side here. Also, the other way you can also do it, as you see, it says ALT, which is located on your base bar. If you're using a computer, press that and letter Y, and your hand will raise as well. We will see it, and we will make sure that you can speak. Please, everyone, if you're not going to be speaking at this time, please keep your phones and microphones on mute. Now, for the phone people who are using their phones today, some of you already know that phone for *6 is to mute or unmute. That is the way you should keep. The host can still control you, muting you and unmuting you if you're having a problem with your phone. And if you have a question, *9 to raise your hand. Again, *9 to raise your hand. Please make sure that you do that. Now, some of you who are on the computer and doing chatting right now, which I'm going to say thank you, please make sure that on your bar, some areas and tablets, you'll have to see more. That means the chat will be there. Sometimes you'll see it flashing like a number 2 or higher numbers. That's where the chatting is located. Please make sure you can click on that and you can type to everyone you want. But please make sure that if you're putting announcements there, please make sure you put your information there clearly, as well as a phone number and an email address. So that's where the chatting is there. Please make sure that everyone, please have paper and pen ready at all times. Does anyone have any questions?
Good morning, Chris. This is Matthew with YEI.
Hi, Matthew. Who did email?
Yes, Matthew. And
everyone.
Matthew, did you hear what I just said just a minute ago?
Yes, I came in during halfway.
Okay. You know where you're raising your hand. Please make sure you raise your hand.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
All right. Hi,
MC,
Al.
bye. And I'm going to just remind everyone, we are expecting a lot of people
How you
today.
doing?
Yes. Hey, Al.
Nice to hear from you.
Nice to see his face.
Nice to see you too.
Yes. But now, right now, it is now 10 o'clock. Joyce, are you with me?
Joyce, are you there?
Yeah, Chris.
You ready?
Uh,
It's 10 o'clock.
there's only 22 people on, but yeah, we can start.
Hey, 22 people is still a good number either way.
They'll start coming in.
Okay.
First of all, I want to welcome everyone to another joint meeting of the Brooklyn Advisory Council and the Brooklyn DD Council. As you know who I am, I'm Christopher D. Greif. Joyce?
She's chair of the Brooklyn Development
Disability Council. And
Good
Deborah
morning,
Greif,
everybody.
and Deborah Greif, chair of the Brooklyn Advisory Council. is here as
Good
well.
morning, everyone. I'm here.
Yes. So before we do any regular business and all the good stuff, we should be always doing, and I know everyone will agree with me, is to have a few minutes of silence.
Minute of silence
Silence of any, since
for
we.
everyone who's been lost through the COVID-19 pandemic.
Mhm. So I ask everyone to please have a few minutes of silence so we can then proceed. Thank you. Thank you. Now the minutes. Now before we, Debbie or Joyce, just to make this clear for everyone, the minutes were always on a two-way street, which I say that for a reason. One, they were on recording. Two, they're always available on our website, and they were emailed out to agencies. So,
And members of the council.
and the members of the council, as well as both councils from DD and advisory, and I know IAC got them because I sent them every IAC staff from A to Z, and I know I got a lot of thank yous on that too. Does anyone have any questions, or can I make a motion? You guys can unmute if you want to say a motion. Joyce?
motion.
Ann made the motion.
Okay.
Ann Menino.
And Menino, got it.
Needed a second.
Second.
tonight. Joyce seconded.
That's thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Much. Now let's. Yes, and that's the best part. Now our favorite part to come in the meeting. Today is unfinished business, and we are not going to be finishing unfinished business until the budget is done. So before we, I know Lucy is here somewhere. I know she's here as well. I know our. Oh my God, what's his name? I just had his name.
Richard Bosch
Richard Botch. I'm sorry.
from Interagency
Agency
Council,
Council.
and we'll be here too.
Yeah, he's here. So we
He's
can.
here. Very glad to see.
Richard, where are you?
Oh, I'm on? Okay.
Yeah, there you. Yeah,
Yeah, you're on.
Yes.
Joyce, do you want to let Richard go first, or you want us to go first?
No, that's fine. Richard could go first. I don't want to occupy his time.
Richard,
That's okay.
first, we both council thank you for being here.
Okay, well, I first have a suggestion. It says this picture of the Brooklyn Bridge. Can you get a picture of the room at Heartshare where you usually meet? And then I'll feel more comfortable.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
People walking in and out, this is a
But the
strange.
advisory council doesn't meet there, Richard.
yeah,
So
don't.
we have to do it alternative then.
I'll change the picture for next month for something a little more holiday moments,
But in
Okay.
Brooklyn,
but in a Brooklyn moment. But the only problem is Joyce, if anyone is in that building, can you ask them to take a picture of Heartshare? So just where the meeting room is, so we can put. I can try to put that in next month. Joyce.
she's here.
Chris froze. Well, it is cold out.
No, I'm
Anyway,
here.
Oh,
No, I'm here.
okay.
We're
It's
very warm here.
it's very warm. But remember, once we have these storms, the power goes in and out. But that's why I have backup.
Okay. So I'll go ahead. Good to see people again. It's certainly a strange time, stressful time. Hope everyone's, dealing okay with this. Of course, we're not. A lot of us had a lot of sadness in our life. People who have passed away. Never thought we'd see a pandemic in our lifetime. And then we had an election, which hopefully is really over. I'm sure it is. It's also had some strange positive effects that the communication has improved. I've never met so many people. At most of the IAC committee meetings and membership meetings, we have between 125 and 200 people. So we're just trying to share a lot of information, which is critical to do. So today I'm just going to go over the education early intervention world, and then I'll get into the OPW world. There's a couple announcements. There was supposed to be the rally, as you know, in front of the governor's office and around the state. Currently, it's scheduled for December 9th as a virtual rally. Windy Schiff and others are organizing that, and you'll get emails about it. So that's December 9th, just penciled on your calendar. We are also going to have lobby days this year in 2021, but it's going to be virtual between February 22nd and March 5th. And of course, again, that's getting organized and scheduled. So look forward to that. So you've probably heard at past meetings, I imagine Chris Trieber has presented to you, but the situation with early intervention, preschool and school-age special education has not improved. Back in August, which seems like years ago, they realized children were not getting referred for evaluations. The outcome of that right now, according to an IAC survey that Chris Trieber did, the preschool special education seats are 21% are empty. In the school age world, there's 24% empty. And that's just New York City. And 6 of the preschools in New York City have over 30% empty. And there doesn't seem to be much of an increase. Schools are having to furlough or lay off teachers. And this comes at a time where the New York City early childhood programs and schools are getting a large increase in their wages. So we're probably going to lose even more teachers. What's really serious, I mean, if you've seen IAC's newsletter, Chris wrote an article, "Where Are All the Children Gone?" We're missing, thousands and thousands of children who should be in preschool or school age special education, early intervention. Just looking for the number. It's about almost 5,000 fewer children are in early intervention right now. So what's that mean? These are children who are, it's critical time of their life to get services. They're not getting them. And it's going to hit around kindergarten. You're going to see children who weren't getting the therapies and the education they were supposed to. And this is going to have a major impact on the special education world. And it'll probably ripple all the way through to the adult world. That by the time you adult service providers get them, they'll be more challenging than in the past. Hopefully, it'll recover quickly. Couple now, I think there's like 3 vaccines that are out there, sound promising. But hopefully the schools and early intervention centers will be able to reopen and it'll be more fiscally viable. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Chris is probably going to be at a number of the meetings coming up. In the entire special education world in New York City, including the public schools, they have about 16,000 fewer students than they did last year. So that's a lot of children who are not getting the services that they need and deserve. And hopefully that can get ramped up again. I know you've probably been reading in the press how ironic it is that that the schools are getting closed every time you meet a certain percentage level. They're teetering on that 3% threshold now. So schools are being closed and the bars and the football stadiums and everything else are not being closed. And it's the adults like us, if we hang out like that with other people in bars and restaurants, COVID's going to spread even more. So it's a strange world. So any questions on education, early intervention world?
Richard, Deborah, and I know Joyce may have questions.
I know one.
Go ahead.
Richard, unfortunately, the children can't vote, and that's why many times where the early intervention, preschool, school-age children are ignored. Of course, if they don't have disabilities, then no, they can't wait to push through. We need to try to do some kind of virtual re-education of all elected officials, staff, and from city down to up, from city up to federal. Why? I'll give a quick example. Many of us parents who have children now, our children, some were able to get the early intervention, some couldn't. Some was able to be in special education in the right program, and through all the extra help they received. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to ever say it's cure, no cure, but they've improved enough that they can have somewhat of a quality of life. So maybe we need to do that kind of advocating where parents in my age group are older, what our children went through, and now what is going, how to advocate. We can do this virtually. So I volunteer myself. Also lobby days, myself, and I will ask all my advisory council members, but you need us to do a virtual lobbying. Please let us know. We're very glad to help you.
Yeah. We were just talking about that yesterday at IAC, that the early intervention education lobbying will kind of take a different approach than our traditional for the adult services. So we're going to meet soon and try to ramp that up. I will say the New York City Department of Health, Mental Hygiene, Early Intervention Division has been much more responsive, to taking action than state ed.
True.
But we need to educate them.
Oh yeah.
But it's scary because on the children's committee, we also brought up, maybe we also have to remind them that early intervention used to get a service. You went to family court.
Yeah.
Unless you've been in a family court. And now parents don't even understand. That's what parents in my age group and older have to go through. Very scary for us.
Yeah. Families are critical now, all the way from birth through adulthood. They've been getting some good attention out of Albany and the legislators. So Winnie's going to be having a meeting soon of our legislative committee, which includes all the DD council chairs. But anyway, stay tuned for that. And, Chris will probably be at the next meeting or soon.
Can you also let the advisory councils know, because we know we're partnering, especially I'm partnering with Joyce, because we're advocating very hard. But if we can show them that we're working together as a team, that's very powerful.
Yeah. Okay, let me move on to the.
I have a question.
1 second. I was going to say, Richard, you have some questions that the light bulb came up. Before I do that, Dolores, Joyce, do you have a question for Richard?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Dolores, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Richard. Maybe you said this, but I want to know why is there a decrease in new referrals from EI?
Because the whole referral system shut down.
Because of COVID?
Yeah, that was mainly preschool. EI, people, children weren't being taken to pediatricians and doctor visits. And that's where a lot of the referrals came from. Well, again, that's ramping up again. So hopefully the EI numbers go up. And actually, Chris has a meeting at 11:30 today. So hopefully he has some updates. And
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
No one else have any questions on that topic? Because we want to make sure Richard moves on.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay, so on to the adult world. What can you say? Been so many cuts, something they're calling holdbacks, so 20% holdback for programs that are funded with 100% state funds. If you haven't heard that expression, a holdback means we're cutting it now when the check goes out. But if the feds come through, theoretically, we may give you some of that money back. The one area that was carved out were people who have subsidized housing in our world. So it's what's known as the ISS, Individual Support Services, which is now a housing subsidy program, or housing subsidies going through self-direction programs. That was carved out, so they're still getting that 20% for the rent. Last thing we need is people who finally got enough independence to move into their own apartment to have 20% of their rent cut. So, you know, tell the landlord, oh, they're holding back, we'll give it to you eventually. So that's carved out. What was just announced by the governor's office and Division of Budget is for next fiscal year in 21-22, he's asking each commissioner to come up with a 5% reduction in spending. This is on top of everything else.
Richard, I just want to say that there's no guarantee that holdback of 20%, that agencies will receive that money down the road.
That's correct.
In fact, it might become a permanent cut. That's what we're concerned about.
Yes, it's worded very carefully that you may never see that 20% again, or you might see some of it. And, you know, hopefully we'll have friends in Washington soon, and some funds to the localities will start flowing. I mean, the one problem with the vaccines, once they're available, local governments are supposed to implement the vaccination, but New York State hasn't received the extra money. So that's another challenge, especially for the City Department of Health, which I think will probably end up doing a very good job, but it's overwhelming if we don't get some funds from Washington. And that's the original letter that came out about the holdbacks, you know, reference funds from Washington are necessary. So whenever you see a call for contacting your legislators or congresspeople in Washington, respond to that. You do have to say, though, that OPW and federal CMS did kick in. They had the day retainer program. So day programs initially were getting 100% of what the revenue was last year. Then that got reduced to 80%. And then I think it was September. I'm losing track of time here. But then the day retainer program went away, but then they allowed for the 1 hour to equal a half unit of service and 2 hours for a full unit, which helped day programs get some revenue. Of course, the virtual learning, the virtual delivery of services will continue, I think, until the emergency is over. So there have been some attempts, but day programs are trying to reopen. And I think, and Joyce, if you've heard different numbers, but it's always around 22 to 25% of the day program population are receiving day services again.
Yeah, that's in person. Families, agencies are just very reluctant. You know, it's transporting people, and you can only have people from the same home on the bus, so you can't mix people on the buses. It's a challenge. But I know in the group homes and also for people living at home, you can provide services virtually. And some agencies are having success doing that as well.
Yeah.
Richard, this is Debbie, I have a question. What about, is also family support service programs being cut too?
Family support programs that are 100% state dollars, yes, they got a 20% holdback. The aid to localities, that means aid to New York City, DOH-MH, got a 20% cut. I don't know if that's moving down the line to providers, if that's being passed down to them. I'm not sure. So the day back to the day programs reopening. When you talk to people outside the metropolitan area, and their percentage of people going back to day programs are going up, and they sometimes don't seem to understand why residences are holding back on sending their people. Well, they forget the number of deaths of people in our group homes and how traumatic that was, and they don't want to see that again. So they're just going to have to be patient, and hopefully, I know OPW is, filed another waiver amendment, which would help some of the funds flow. We'll see what happens to that. Something that my boss, Tom McElvanna, pointed out yesterday, that in addition to all these cuts, spending in housing over the years has been increasing by 5.8%, because, the few houses that are being developed are more expensive, rents are going up, people are moving into their own apartments, so it's the costs are going up. There's also been a 7% growth in care management funding. That's because more people are coming into the system, and people with more intensive needs. So the care managers, that's growing, and that's another growth factor. And this is at the time we've all been talking about, the waiting list for residential services. Well, finally, OPW released some numbers. I don't know how publicly it went, but we do have it in writing. This is for the state. So you have the three categories. You have emergency need, substantial need, and current need. And emergency need, of course, is the people who are basically homeless, or they're in a psychiatric unit, or there's no family there. The family passed away. But the total number of those three categories is 4,900, which is about what we've been saying all along anyway. And there's probably another 4,900 that are not on the official CROW list, which is the official waiting list. So there's 843 in emergency need, 1,956 listed as substantial need, and 2101 for current need. These are people who are current need, is people who are on the waiting list. Somewhat stressful situations. They would take a residence if it was offered. So there are 4,900 people on that waiting list who need services, residential services, as soon as possible. Seems to have been the number since we started counting back in the mid 80s. So it continues to grow. And I'll just say again that the request to CMS to improve the situation is they want to go back to the day program, 1 hour, 2 hour rule, especially in hotspots, to get some funds flowing into the day programs. And we're pushing to have property handled differently. Right now, for day programs and residential, it's part of the rate. As your population goes down, especially in the day program, and if you're at 35% capacity, you're only getting 35% of the rent funds that you need to pay the rent. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, the OPW, and especially Kate Marley, is very skilled and been pretty successful at dealing with CMS. So we're hopeful on that. And I think the last thing I'll mention as a reminder, the electronic visit verification, EVV, goes into effect on 1/1/21. I hope all the agencies are ready to implement that. Because the state has promised, or not the state, the feds have promised there will be a severe penalty to the state if they do not implement that. So that's it in the adult world.
Richard, I'm going to ask this one thing. I have to tell you, I always enjoy when you explain everything. The one thing that I just want to thank you, because every time I wanted to say thank you to you in the other meetings, I didn't get a chance and I always forget. But I do want to thank you and IAC on a lot of things. The one concern,
And I want to thank you, Chris,
yes.
for not having the long line of announcements at the beginning of the meeting, which usually takes an hour.
well,
But I look forward to the day we're in person and you can do that again.
yeah. Well, there's one little easy I did for everyone. Since I'm glad you mentioned announcements, because I did it 2 ways. They can chat it in as they're doing it, or they can wait till closer to the end of the meeting to do their announcements. So that's this time, since we're in the Ring Central world, they have the 2 options. The one thing I know that we're seeing a lot of cuts, and I could tell you right now, Richard, please do not leave the meeting, because we do have elected official representatives actually here. We've been doing that. I know Joyce can vouch with me, because a few months ago we had Andrew Gonavis here. So they are listening what we're saying. And I know we're trying to get even Congress, definitely the U.S. senators, assembly people.
We've been doing very active advocacy on behalf for OPWDD, because
And
as a
both
parent for both councils, I am back as secretary, the DD council, but it's extremely important because I don't want to see the services get lost. That's why I also asked you about family support. And yes, the statewide met, and we're trying to figure out how to deal with this in an appropriate way. But I wanted to know if you heard about this. Why I asked you, because you're in a different end of the advocacy part than where I am. But yes, we are working very carefully with Margaret Puddington to advocate for this.
Well, you do have to take advantage of the virtual meetings, because it's much easier, obviously, for people to attend.
Yeah.
And Staten Island Council has had, I think, all their legislators at one time or another attending. So keep after them.
Oh, we will.
Oh, we will. Oh, let me tell you.
We will.
I'm doing it, but I'm not going like crazy. I'm going to do peace and love moments here as Ringo starts.
Oh, okay.
And they do ask, because I have gotten calls on my cell and text. They want to know how is these cuts affecting the family.
Yeah. And they've been actually watching the videos that we record here. And I can tell you right now, our attendance level
It's going up.
has gone up to the ceiling levels. So I can tell you right now, as I'm clicking right now, you might see 37, but we have a link that people, like our elected officials, are watching. So the number is actually not accurate. It's going.
It's not accurate. It's going up higher.
It's going higher, but I have still plenty of room to fit a lot of people, and it's just good attendance we've been doing.
Yeah.
Anybody have questions for Richard? He's here, and so take it in. Who would like to ask a question for Richard?
Yeah, and let me peek over here, because at the same time, I see someone's flashing. No,
I can't hear the speaker.
No speaker yet.
no.
Just we're just asking the attendees. Do they have a question for you?
Does anyone have a question? Exactly. Everyone's running announcements.
Okay, but
Going once.
Actually, I do have a question for
Oh,
Richard.
Matthew. Thanks, Rob.
So I wanted to clarify for the CRO list, was that number for all of New York State or Metro New York?
That's New York, all New York State.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Anybody else has a question?
Going once. Going twice. Richard, it looks like that wasn't an easy.
And I'll stay on as long as I can.
I understand. We
Another meeting to go
understand.
to, but I like to hear everybody.
Oh, you're gonna love the after OPWDD because I have a little surprise.
He'll do his best to stay on, but he'll
No,
hear about
it's
it.
not far. Lucy, are you here? Lucy O'Mays, I know I saw you because your name shown.
Lucy, anyone here from the Brooklyn DVRO?
DVRO.
I did see Lucy on there. Oh, she's
Yes.
here. Okay. So, Chris, can I go?
Hello, I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute myself. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Loud
Yes, we
and
can,
clear.
Lucy, loud and clear.
Okay, good. Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Well, for now.
Yeah.
At the moment, COVID free.
Yeah, I enjoyed your presentation as well, Richard.
Thank you, and thank you for your help yesterday.
Absolutely. So I just have, we've talked about some of those changes previously, some of the ones that you mentioned with the 20% hold, as well as the amendment to the waiver. I have a few updates regarding, there were some changes that were made to the front door process. And this has been sent to the CCO executives. And it has to do with the people coming in through the front door. So effective immediately, the people that are transitioning from public school, people that are leaving public school and they're going to be coming to OPWDD to receive adult services, they've always had to come back through the front door. We always encourage them to attend the front door, but sometimes, some of them are already waiver enrolled and they know what they want. So effective immediately, those population, people that are already waiver enrolled and they're leaving public schools, and all they want is just an adult service. They're no longer required to come through the front door. They just have to do like a service amendment to add the new service, to add the adult service. Also, another change that's also been put in place is that, in the past, individuals that were waiver enrolled, but they've had a break in their service for for about a year or more, will have to come back. If they want to come back and receive OPWDD services, they have to go back to the front door. So that's another change, effective immediately. If you're waiver enrolled and you're still enrolled with a care coordination organization and you want to come back and receive an OPWDD services, you don't have to come back and go through the whole front door process. It can be done through a service amendment. So that new regulation was already sent out to all the CCO agencies. In addition to that, another change that was made to the front door process is that, family members that attend information sessions, you're still required to attend information sessions, and we were giving out certificates. It's no longer a requirement for them to get a certificate. If any family member is interested and they would like to have one, just, for their own, purposes, not necessarily because they need to show it to the care coordination organization, they can request it, but henceforth, you're just allowed to participate in front door sessions and those certificates will be issued. I know that some care coordination organizations were asking family members, like, give us proof and give us a certificate. We've also reached out to them and we've told them that, it's no longer required for family members to receive a certificate as long as they've attended the information, because it's really in their best interest to attend that information session and to know what's going on. It's for their benefit. So I don't think that there will be any reason for them to be hopefully telling the care coordination organization that they've attended when they've not attended. So proof is no longer required. In addition to that, these are all process changes to kind of, make the process of receiving services to kind of expedite it and make it quicker and less, difficult for the family members. In the past, there were 2 forms that were required as part of the waiver application document. We have a waiver application form, and we also have a documentation of choices form. So moving forward, those 2 forms have been combined into one, because previously it was very cumbersome. You need a lot of signature from the care manager, signature from the family member, signature from OPWDD. So now only one signature is required. The 2 forms have been combined, and the only signature that's required is just for family members to sign. So this went into effect yesterday. So another one of the this information that I'm going to present right now, I know that vacancies, we talked earlier on about people that are waiting for placement. We do know that agencies have, because of COVID and all the different things that's going on, unfortunately, there's some vacancies that have been created. In the past, it appears as if, providers were directly reaching out, or care managers were reaching out to providers to kind of tell them that they have vacancies. The process is that, if any provider, if there are vacancies with providers, they're supposed to be reaching out to OPWDD to let OPWDD know about those vacancies, because we, OPWDD, the regional office coordinates, those vacancies, and they work with the referral list that we already have in order to make sure that, individuals are appropriately placed. So we just want to reinforce that with providers, that if any provider has vacancies, they should be utilizing our centralized CRO mailbox for vacancies to report those vacancies. I believe that, all of the providers as well as the CCOs have been provided with that vacancy information, but I can give it to you now. It is R for robots, the number 4, CRO, C-R-O, vacancies at opwdd.ny.gov. I'm going to repeat that. If agencies have vacancies that they need to report, this is the mailbox that they should be sending it to. R as in robots, the number 4, CRO, C-R-O, vacancies at opwdd.ny.gov.
Excuse me, Lucy, this is Chris. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Since you're on the computer, can you please put that on the chat?
Okay. Oh, great idea.
Because then we don't have to ask people to ask you to repeat that like 600 times.
Okay, good.
Want to make things easy for you, Lucy.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right.
And just to let everyone know, for the record, it's on the recording. This is also recorded and it will be on the minute, so it's duly noted.
All right, and also we have another mailbox that can be used if they're requesting, if they're sending referral to OPWDD. I'm also going to put that in the chat. So if anybody has individuals that that are seeking residential placement, I'm going to give you how to, the information of where to send that referral packet to. In addition to that, the other thing that I have is that I think Richard had mentioned the fact that so what's come to our attention is that there's some areas that have now been they're being considered kind of hotspots and clusters where we're having a lot more incidents of COVID. So those areas have been designated, and characterized by 3 colors: red, orange, and yellow. And also, level of mitigation and management is kind of, is applicable depending on the area. So if you're like in a red area, you have a lot of restrictions that are imposed. An orange area have some other restrictions, and the yellow area is not so bad. So we have guidelines that have been developed by OPWDD, and these have been sent out to agencies, and agencies that are also, that have that are providing OPWDD services in those areas are required to do, some specific things. First of all, they have to notify us. And also they have to provide notification to OPWDD and have like a plan in place. They have the enhanced testing that are required, both for the individuals and for their staff. And also in some of those cases, the programs are either suspended or completely closed. If the residential services at this time, they're not allowing visiting to take place. And if they're day programs, those day programs are also closed. So the guidelines have been, sent out to the agency, and agencies are aware of what they're supposed to do. But that's all I have.
Joyce, do you have a question?
No, Chris.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Lucy,
Mhm.
if you are living in the red zone,
Mhm.
you may not be infected, does the Brooklyn DRO limit people who live there who have to come out to the office? Do you limit us?
So is that really where you live? Is where the program is located?
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that, Lucy.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Lucy, Fran has a question for you.
Mhm. Sure.
Fran, you can unmute yourself. I know she wrote something. Fran.
I'm coming. Do you see me yet?
I just see your name.
I hear you.
Okay.
I can hear
All right.
you. And the only thing I see is
Okay.
I see a wall.
This stupid camera keeps moving.
Hey,
Hi,
no,
Lucy.
Fran.
Hi,
miss
Fran.
you.
How are you?
Fran, no
I'm
curse
good.
words allowed
I
in the
miss you,
meeting.
Lucy. How you doing?
I am fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good. I'm at work today. I'm at the office. Lucy, we've been trying to get clarification from many individuals in OPWDD and IAC. And, we have a question. We joined the retainer program, right?
Mhm.
But we have a lot of individuals who we've been serving ComHab either face-to-face or virtually. Now, these people are using their units. Now, if their units are coming to an end, do we just totally stop providing them the service because we have no more units? Or because we're in the retainer, do we continue to provide them the service? No one has an answer for me. I just need clarification on this.
So my understanding is that, you can continue to provide services, but overall, I don't think you can exceed whatever units that you had for last year. So you're still supposed to, so if their units is out and you as a provider, you have units, you can continue to provide services to those individuals, but I believe that you still have to stay within your limits for the previous year.
Okay, so are you saying, are the units following the individual, or is it a unit in total as a provider? Because the individuals, their units are gone. We won't be able to serve them because I'm worried that we would get fined if we went over and billed for units that aren't there. So now these poor people are, aren't getting what they need.
But do you, as a provider, do you have a unit? Because I know that previously in the past, agencies were being awarded units, right? But now individuals do come to us and we give them units. So it's kind of both. So
Yeah,
if
I don't
you,
know. How would we find out what units we have as a provider?
Hey, Fran, it's Richard.
yeah,
Hi, Rich.
I'm sure you reached out to Winnie. She's the only one that seems to really have a handle on this, but there's a difference if you were part of the retainer program and if you weren't. And those who are in the retainer program, are these ComHab units that were used in lieu of DayHab?
No.
No. So this was ComHab to people living in their own homes.
Yes. And that we're receiving services outside of DayHab or on the weekend.
Okay.
yeah,
I think that's by the old rules then, but I'll go back and talk. I'll go back.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going back into the office.
Yeah,
Well,
it's so confusing, Richard.
You know what?
I really don't know what to do.
Yeah. Fran, send an email directly to Winnie, Winnie at
Okay.
iacny.org.
Yeah, I have it.
It's a very confusing area.
Right.
And the rules keep changing.
Right.
Yeah, tell her I
Okay.
told her to contact her.
Yeah,
I kind of,
very confusing.
yeah. Fran, based on what Richard said, it's a little bit, so these individuals have ComHab and they're receiving services from you?
Yes.
So you can continue, and what are you providing ComHab?
They go to the home. They take them out into the community. They are using them to reach goals. It's also because they can't be left home alone, in some circumstances. A lot of different reasons why they need the ComHab.
And that's okay. So the way the retainer program works is that you, because you are signed up with that program, you can continue to provide the services to them. It's not so much as them using, because they enroll, because it's not so much as they using up their own ComHab. They've already been approved, but you're also
Right.
approved as part of the retainer to continue to provide those services. But whatever your billing cycle was for last year, I don't believe that you can go over that.
Okay.
Excuse me, guys. We have another person has a question, and then we have to move on because we have elected officials who want to speak also.
Right.
Tammy Brown, because this sounds like this is a more issue that I think Fran.
Yeah, it is. Oh,
Yes.
thank you so much for
one-on-one.
giving me that.
All right.
No. At least I gave you guys a few minutes, but Tammy Brown's been waiting very patiently. She has her hand up. Tammy, you can unmute yourself, which you already did.
Hello, Tammy.
Go ahead, Tammy Brown.
Hello.
Tammy, you raised your hand. You can speak. Your microphone's on. Now it's off. Now it's on.
Talk, please.
You can talk, Tammy. Go ahead. Say the question. Tammy, you can speak. Your microphone is on, but we don't hear anything. Okay, Tammy's gonna write. She's having a problem with her microphone. Lucy or
Richard.
Richard. So I'm gonna just waiting for her to type it in. First of all, well, someone else wrote good morning. Yes.
I mean, I see a question that Tammy has about eligibility.
Yeah.
Or was that somebody else?
No, that was someone else.
Matthew. That was someone else. Okay.
No, that was
Yes,
Matthew.
that was
and
me.
Matthew. So was that question answered?
No.
So if you're applying for the first time, do you have those evaluations already? Because if you're just coming to OPWDD, we're still requesting the
Right.
typical evaluations that we would need, the psychological, the psychosocial, and the medical.
Right.
So what
My question was like, for example, we have a number of free evaluation families who had a psychosocial earlier in the year, but then all the other evaluations were delayed due to COVID. Now they're in a situation where their psychosocial might be expired by the time they send everything in. Is there a grace period that's being allowed for families with those psychosocials that do have to be only within 1 year old?
Unfortunately, because they are not yet OPWDD eligible, those exceptions are not being made. The exceptions and grace periods are only extended to people who are already, whose OPWDD eligibility have been determined.
Yeah, only-
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome.
Okay, Lucy, there's the question for Tammy Brown. Tammy will be the last question because we do have elected official waiting very patiently. I mean, representatives, I'm sorry. Lucy, you see the question on the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
You
make it
always
easy.
have the opportunity to have your care manager request more units if needed. It will borrow down to OPWDD approving the request for the opportunities there. So the way the retainer program is done is that it's done in a way that is for individuals that are already enrolled in DayHab, ComHab, or Prevoc, and they're receiving those services. So the agencies that are participating in the retainer program can provide services without coming back to OPWDD. They're not going to come back for us for additional units. They're not going to come back to us for any DDP1 processing. They're not going to come back to us for any kind of, they don't have to come back to us. That's the way the program is set up. So in that case, we're not going to be given any type of units. It's whatever the agency's been given that flexibility to go ahead and provide those services without the need to come back to us.
Lucy, I want to thank you because I have to say, I actually understand what you said very clearly.
Yes, thank you, Lucy. I even understood, and I'm very bad with numbers.
Lucy, you can read what
Thank
Tammy, I know Tammy Brown
You're
wrote
welcome.
something else to you. You guys can maybe link your chats together and, you two can talk, or because we do need to make sure that we got to make sure we move on. I know a lot of people have questions and may need antidotes and answers, but I know someone else been waiting very patiently, but I do want to thank everyone's questions they've been putting on. It does make it easy for Lucy and Richard to see it too. So at least, if you're not sure, you don't want to speak, but you can write it in. And if you have a question for Lucy or Richard, please let me know. Put it on the chat, and I will make sure they will get the email at the end of the meeting. Or if they're still here, they'll see it from there, and they can answer you from right back at your chat. So, Lucy, stay where you are because we have some special guest stars. This can maybe answer coronavirus answers too. You may want to listen a little bit too. Okay. Moving on to our agenda, and I'm going to click on my page. We did have elected official representatives, and I will add representatives. And I know I saw her. Melissa, are you there? Representing Congresswoman. Say her name, please.
Nydia Velazquez, are you still here with us?
Yes, she is. And she's off the mute button. So
Good morning, Deborah Greif. Good to hear from you.
Melissa, long time no see.
Yeah, Melissa.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's well today.
We are. Thank you so much.
So on behalf of the Congresswoman, thank you for hosting this event or this meeting every month. Something that I don't know if Chris was able to present earlier, but Sunset Park did give recognition and attend, or the Congresswoman did give recognition and attend the event that happened last week over at 59th Street and 4th Avenue, where the MTA had a newly installed elevator, and federal contributions totaled something like $43 million.
53.
53 in total, but I think of the that was the complete cost, but the federal allocation was 43 million.
Yeah. I'm talking about state. Sorry.
Okay, so so basically what happened there was 3 elevators are installed, one from the street, 2 to take you down into the, and 2 separate elevators to take you down into the tunnel, which is phenomenal for Sunset Park, because in Sunset Park, it's our first elevator that we have access to for residents. So now they have access, residents have access to the, or I should say non-residents now have access to our waterfront, which also now hosts at the Brooklyn Army Terminal the adaptability custom bicycle program. It's a nonprofit organization that builds custom bikes for persons with physical disabilities. So, so that's a really great resource for us. And also in the community board, we have an access and abilities committee that focuses exclusively on services for disabled residents. So part of the new agenda that's going to be coming up in the next meeting is going to include housing boilerplate requests for new developments. So for those of you that don't know, they're outside of the Congresswoman's district, on Bergen and Dean, just off of Flatbush Avenue. There's going to be 2 housing developments that will be submitting a request to incorporate the accessibility services or accessibility living versus adaptability. Every unit every new housing development that is built has to be adaptable, but we're saying there should be things that come in that don't require adaptation, like, and primarily a roll-in shower, key fobs instead of keys, things like that. Like we're in 2020, and the Congresswoman feels strongly that residents should be, as many residents should have access to housing as possible. Another thing that, and that request is going to be drafted in a boilerplate language so that every developer in New York City gets it. And then the next thing that we're focusing on is the website for persons who have a voucher. It's gosection8.com. And although that website does give Section 8 residents access to housing that is already pre-qualified housing, that if you have your voucher, you can you don't have to wait for the owner to get approval. What is not there on the website is whether or not that those units are accessible. So it then requires every single person who does have the need for an elevator, for instance, widened doors, etc., to then have to slave through the process of making those inquiries when that information should be readily accessible. So those are some of the things that the Congresswoman's office will be working on, and I'll be charged with following through on. Thank you.
Melissa, just to let you know, we have questions.
I have a question.
Deborah, and then Joyce.
My quick question is, I understand what you're saying, but a lot of the adaptive pieces you're saying, if a person ends up living there till they get older, it's better to have that adaptable stuff in the apartments already. At the same time, they need to have wider homes and easier doors for people to get in and out to do an angle. But we also need to get as many housing units to work with agencies so we can get our individuals who need residential services immediately, because our parents are getting older and they can't care for their children much longer, and it's not right for them, the child with the amount of disability, to be the caregiver then. It's very rough for them. So I hope, Joyce, do you have anything you want to add to what I'm saying?
No, I admire Melissa and your group for taking that on. If you want to contact me after, we actually have a boilerplate that we give to our architects when we're doing housing, which includes all the adaptations that it needs. We try to incorporate that in all of our housing, so we don't end up having to retrofit housing down the road. We've learned these valuable lessons.
That's great. Joyce, if you could put your email in the chat, I'll certainly follow up with you. And I mean, and that's exactly what the goal is, right? So we don't want to have to ask for adaptations. We want it to be built in. And that if anybody doesn't want those things, then let them ask for it to be, you know, changed to accommodate them. But that all units should be built with accessibility as a priority, not as an afterthought.
Melissa, this is Chris. I do have one question for you also. If you heard the rest of the meeting, one thing, and I know Debbie and Joyce can chime in with me. One thing that, you know, between not just MTA, with the MTA, we don't know right now, they're doing their board thing right now with the budget and stuff. But the concern is also, as you may have heard about the cuts regarding with people with disability, that 20% or maybe more is going to hurt all disabilities, because you represent, in that area, you do represent between HeartShare, Heaven's Hands.
That's just to name a few. And we need to make sure that those funding is kept. Because honestly, the agencies are doing a major job to provide these services, and any cuts will really affect them to do it quality. And it's not because they just want to say, no, they are caring for our children. Joyce, do you want to add anything? And by the way, Melissa, can you please also suggest that all community boards in every part of New York City, especially in Brooklyn, have that type of committee?
I've seen your committee.
I like that very much.
We really love your Community Board 7, how they do it very well. It really shows that if that community board can do it, why can't other community boards do that?
Joyce, do you want to add anything to what I said, or Chris?
No, thank you.
Okay.
With respect to the community board,
yes,
I want to, the reason why the community board has that committee is because for 2 years I had to fight for it.
I understand that, Melissa. I'm on community board 15.
And they do some disabilities, but there are other community boards, which I'm not, well, this will go on forever, don't really work on it, and I don't even see them doing with seniors. I do see them in community board 13, 15, and I'm going to say community board in Bay Ridge, I think it's 11 or 10, they do it, because I have seen that as well, and I do want to thank that community board. But there are some community boards that if our borough can do it, why can't other boroughs do it?
No, you're absolutely correct. So my point is in saying that community boards are not required to host any types of specific committees, right? However,
True. Except if they have a large population of people with disabilities
or seniors.
Yeah,
seniors living in their area, then they are supposed to.
We're all on the same page.
I know.
Yeah. So my point in bringing this to everyone's attention on this call is in that we as individuals must be present around the table, and we must hold them accountable.
Absolutely.
To the need to serve this population. This population came out in big voting numbers, and we as voters need to hold our elected officials also accountable for even appointing persons to the community board to represent the disabled community, to ensure that every community board takes this really seriously. And at a point where everything and every meeting has gone virtual, there is no reason why every community board member or every community board should not be hosting an access and abilities committee or disabled and senior committee, whatever they want to call it, to focus on this priority population in every single community board. So my personal vision for that to happen was listen, I can't make it happen everywhere, fine, but I'm gonna make sure it happens in my community. And so before I was working for the Congresswoman, that was something that on my way out of the community board, I left for the community board to follow through on. And Cindy, I can never pronounce her last name, Cindy Vonsenberg.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough.
She is the chair, and she's been doing a really great job. So we tag team off of each other, and I present to her ideas and suggestions, which she takes and she runs with. So I will be putting her in touch with you, Joyce, but I also want to, I guess, let the board know or let this group of folks know something else that her committee is going to be drafting is to mirror Moped's meeting plan for when anyone is hosting a public meeting, the requirements that do need to be met, as well as your suggestion that you mentioned, which is that every single community board should have a abilities and access committee, and then submit that to the citywide district managers meeting that happens every month at the mayor's office, so that they're all on board with, oh, this is something that we never really looked at. And so things that we're focusing on in Sunset Park include transportation, public furniture at the bus stops, so that people can sit down, the curbs at all the corners. How is it our community is connecting one side of the community to the other? How are we incentivizing businesses to make these very necessary accommodations? So all of these things are being looked at, but they're only being looked at because now there's a magnifying glass here. And so we all need to do our own personal diligence in ensuring that happens. So in addition to ensuring that we hold the community board accountable, we need to hold ourselves accountable for making sure that happens. And we need to ask people when they're not making room for us to everybody slide over a little bit so that we're around that table too. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Melissa. We'll be glad to be working with you together.
And just let everyone know, if you have a question for Melissa, you guys could put it on the chat as well. So therefore she can see it. And Melissa, if you have to run, I understand. And if somebody has a question for you, I will email it to you. I do have your email.
Yes. And I also put my email in the chat.
Thank you very much, Melissa. This is Debbie thanking you.
And just to let you know, you did see the picture a few minutes ago. I will be doing it a little bit later. But it's always good to hear from other people. And I can tell you right now, we do our meetings, or I will send you the schedule, and I will let you know if we do have a Liquor Save
event. We will make sure to let you know.
100%. Am I right, Joyce?
Yes.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay. I know I saw Assembly Women's, and I would use the word S. I know Jenny was here, and
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm still here.
There's Jenny.
If I say Jenny, pop, she comes out.
I love that purple.
Yes. Thank you so much for all the great things that you guys are doing. I love coming to this call, and the member wish she could be here, but she had a schedule conflict. Right now, as you probably know, not much going on in Cornell for families with disabilities. So we are trying to put something together because we do have a few families that needs help and support. We are here for you guys, and thank you for all the resources that all the speakers, everybody on the call is providing. So we appreciate you. If there's anything that the member could do to assist, please let you know. We are here always for you guys. Thank you. And if you don't speak before Turkey Day, happy Turkey Day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Does anyone have any questions for Jenny, representing for Assemblywoman Matilda?
Oh, by the way, is Matilda doing still the food drives?
I'm sorry?
Are there food drives in your area? Because we do have families or agencies who have families who live in the area that may need help with food.
If you have any family, this year is because of Corona, we're not doing much, but we have a few turkeys to give away. If you know any families that need a turkey, please let us know, and we'll make arrangement for a turkey to be either for them to pick up or deliver to them. So let us know.
We will.
We will. And I did encourage everyone, well, maybe if some people have been coming in early and late. Anyone who needs food, please let your elected officials know. And
Yes.
that's why I can tell you, that's why you guys voted for them. So don't be shy. And please make sure you let them know. Thank you, Jenny.
Jenny, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And let Matilda know I say hello and I'm praying for her. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, thank you.
I'm praying for health reasons.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Is there I'm going to say Nicole Nakatakis,
Nakatakis, are you there?
representative here? Because I know sometimes she comes in.
Hello.
Okay. Maria Mark from the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs.
Are you there, my dear?
Hi, everybody. It's very nice to be here, as always.
Hi, Maria. I haven't seen you for a long time.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Last
well, now I
night.
can see everybody.
Can you see me?
Just a few quick announcements. I know that I've been speaking about what's going on with COVID forever and forever and forever. Just a quick thing that I want to really emphasize, especially for communities that are more vulnerable, which is we always talk about, the testing. We talk about the core 4, which is hand washing and face mask wearing and all of that. The thing I actually wanted to speak about today is a very specific emphasis on the take care part. And the take care part is incredibly important because it's not just that you get tested and that that there are tracers that will call and find out who you've made contact with to try to make sure that you're staying at home. The take care part is really for folks that have already tested positive. In some cases, those folks want to stay at home. And for them, that's the easiest part. That's the safest part. That's the part that they feel most comfortable, and they're not living with anybody who's also not infected, who may be vulnerable, especially vulnerable. The take care part will still provide things. So if you've got medication, even if that has nothing to do with COVID, so that you don't have to go outside to the pharmacy to pick up a refill, they will have that brought over. If you need food, that will be brought over. If you need toiletries, you've run out of toilet paper, unfortunately, and you're at home, so that you don't have to go out and potentially infect others, they will be able to do that. So that's one very important part of it. And the other part, which I think is also incredibly important, is about the hotel option. And I think a lot of people don't know about the hotel option. And so I wanted to briefly talk about that. Just one moment. Let me just turn off the background noise. Sorry about that. Automated machines doing what they do. So with the hotel option, what that is if you, and I actually know somebody who's taken advantage of it just this week. If you're living in a home where there are people who are vulnerable, and you have been tested positive for COVID and you don't want to infect your loved ones, you have the option to isolate in a hotel room for up to 14 days. And so what that entails is they will pick you up, they will drop you back off home. So transportation's provided, free Wi-Fi is provided, 3 meals a day is provided. In addition to everything else, and I'm gonna put in the link for all of this, and also the phone number for anybody who needs this, which is actually just the main COVID number. So all of these things are provided, and there's actually medical staff. Now, if you say you were unfortunately infected, and you live in a household with a number of different people, you might have, you know, yourself, your parents, your children, everybody is in the household. I've recently I've dealt with somebody who unfortunately a cancer survivor, but had a very compromised immune system, and so her child and husband, who were both tested positive, isolated in a hotel room, and they're in there now. And this is something that you can actually bring other people in who are also infected. So you don't have to just be by yourself. If you have children that need to stay with you, if you have seniors that need to stay with you, they can join you in that hotel room. And so this is something that people don't know about, and it's very important that they take advantage of it, because we don't just want to know whether you're sick. We want to do that extra stuff, that care stuff. In addition to that, nyc.gov/COVID zones to know your zone. Right now, there are in Staten Island and Queens yellow zones. In Brooklyn, it's currently orange and yellow. Those can change at any time. New York City, luckily, does not have any red zones at the moment, and the zones are subject to the governor. He makes up what the guidelines are for that, or not just the guidelines, but also what the borders are for those zones. If anybody needs me, I'll also put my email in the chat. And everyone, please get tested. nyc.gov/COVID tests. Again, I'll put the links in the chat, as well as the contact information for the Take Care program.
And just let everyone know, if you have a question for Maria, just please put it on the chat also. And just letting you know, Maria and Joyce will be next also, because she has to do her report. I have already got your attachment, which you just saw a few minutes ago. That's already on recording, and I will be showing that again and again and again until everyone understands. Please,
until you update it again.
Until you update it again and again. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
And now moving on to Joyce Levin,
our chair
of the Brooklyn DD Council. Joyce.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, everybody. And I want to thank our speakers who presented on their information. It's all very valuable and important information. But I do want to talk about a few things. First, as everybody's been saying, the COVID numbers are on the increase, and be careful and make sure we're taking those precautions and wearing masks to prevent it. We will, the rally is, Richard Bosch had mentioned, was postponed to December 7th. It was going to be an in-person rally outside the governor's office in New York City, and they were going to drive around the Capitol building and also on the grounds of Willowbrook. But that all owned due to the increased numbers in COVID. So it'll be a virtual rally on December 7th, and I don't know if it went through. I just sent you the flyer with the Zoom link. It's very important that
that will be added to the website. It'll be added to the website. Richard just emailed you, and you and Richard did email me, and I'm going to make sure that goes out. But I think it is. I agree with you, Joyce. Everyone should be on that Zoom, so please pass the word out.
Okay, it's very important that our numbers are up. It'll include all 5 boroughs, Long Island, and the Capital Region. So there'll be at least 6 or 7 upstate New York, Dorney, West New York. So there'll be like 7 regions involved, and everybody has basically a message about services and the potential 5% cut in services. What does that mean? The 20% cut that Richard talked about to the reimbursement how long can an agency sustain a 20% cut? That remains to be seen, but not very long. Think about taking a 20% pay cut. What does that mean to you and your budget personally at home? It's a very scary time for all of us. And our OPWDD programs have really never been in this position. And if you think about it, we serve the most vulnerable people within the state. And you know, we just don't know what's going to happen. So we have that 20% cut that's in effect right now. We don't know if that'll become permanent. As Richard said, the language written, it can become permanent. And now the governor has asked for 5% cuts of all the state agencies. What does that mean? We are, through IAC and a couple of other provider associations, we are trying to ask for a seat at the table with OPWDD to help guide where those 5% cuts might come. Unfortunately, agencies have recently been hit with new regulations that have come into effect from OPWDD, where we didn't have a seat at the table. Now all of a sudden we're tasked with additional responsibilities, and of course no additional monies. The one example is ISS. That is strictly supposed to be a reimbursement for an apartment for an individual. It's not a program. Most of the individuals living in these apartments are very independent. Now OPWDD came out with new rules that we now have to get income information from the individuals and go into the apartments as if they're a certified apartment and look around the apartment and fill out a checklist. Well, I can tell you most of the people that HeartShare serves through ISS, it'll be very difficult for them to allow us even into the apartment or give us that information. And I'm sure other agencies can attest to that as well. So again, new things are being thrown at agencies or new regulations coming out, and nobody has a seat at the table to even hear about them in advance. So things are happening that we really need to get out there in this rally, and there are committees now scheduling speakers and elected officials. It's very important our elected officials participate, and leading into that is typically we have the rallies and the visits, lobby days, as Richard had mentioned. Those will be virtual. We will also be doing a virtual legislative event. Typically, the end of February, beginning of March, we would do a legislative breakfast, which most of you have attended throughout the years. Unfortunately, this year, due to COVID, we're going to do a virtual event. How that'll be, remains to be seen. But I do ask if anybody is interested in helping to coordinate that. You can email me because we're going to develop a committee. And my email, I did put it in the chat before for Melissa. So you can email me and let me know if you'd like to be on that committee. That will also, again, be at the end of February, beginning of March, when the budget comes out and we see what we need to advocate for, what we need to rally around. I've certainly mentioned quite a few things that we need to rally around at this point. But it's all about advocacy. And again, for the most vulnerable individuals that need the services and their families. Families are struggling terribly at this point, having their children home who might have gone to a day program or to school. And they really need a lot of help and a lot of support. So we need to ensure that we're there for them and that they're able to get that support that's so desperately needed. So at this point, if there's questions?
Joyce, there is one thing we have to correct. The date for the rally is on the 9th of December, not the 7th.
December 9th. If I said the 7th,
Yeah.
we were on the call yesterday and if dates were thrown around, but it is the 9th from 11 to 12:30.
Yes. Just to let everyone know that, Joyce, because Debbie's looking at her phone, and we have it down as December 9th, and we will, as I said before, this email will be on, and it will be also on our website as well.
Can I add one? I'd like to just add one thing, Joyce, just to make sure. A lot of the one thing I think will be very helpful is that we get all agencies here. Get your families, take a picture of your family members, whatever messages, but also even if you can do a quick little video with this is my family and what's in this will it be this is how I'll be affected with these services being cut. And that's the part on the family's part. I know that, and yes, Joyce, I will. Don't worry, I will be working with you. Our council members are very gung-ho to work with you because none of us want to lose services.
Thank you.
Joyce, I think Melissa, you have a question because I'm looking at it says a star and bring. What can you? Are you there, Melissa? Still?
Yeah, so I misspelled
Yeah.
the word. It was bring. So my question, Mariah, I had participated and I was in touch with the mayor's office, the mayor's Brooklyn rep for Southwest Brooklyn, and attended the I got a rapid COVID test, and literally we were on Hamilton Avenue from 40th to 41st Street. Took 4 hours to get tested. And we certainly understand that there's a high demand, especially now. So this was, I believe it was like last Thursday.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I think you spoke with my colleague, Edward.
Yes.
Turner? Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah,
I did have concerns with the sites not informing the people in the line that if they had a disability that they could come to the front, or if that they were just there for a regular test versus the rapid test, that was a separate line. So they were not filtering the line, which for me was concerning, where we have persons, who are highly vulnerable, seniors, etc., standing outside, and it was a rainy day that day. It wasn't like pouring rain, but it was misting the whole time. And so to have vulnerable populations standing in these lines and there not being any clear communication, and yet there were 4 security guards and only one of them was making a very conscious effort to come into the line to say certain things. And not until I went inside to address the site coordinator did was she directed to come out and make the announcement about the separate line for the regular test versus the rapid test. So if there is any communication that can be disseminated or that the mayor can announce, I think would be really great to, let people know, or we could have to let people know at these sites that, listen, if you're senior or disabled, we can prioritize you at your discretion, right? So that they don't have to stand in these lines, because we're getting huge numbers turning out.
of course. Actually, I know exactly the incident you were talking about. So I've gotten the regular test and I've gotten a rapid test, and the lines for both of those were significantly different. The wait times were different. I never had to, or when I went to get tested for the rapid test, I didn't have the same experience as you did, even though there was a significantly longer wait time. But I know exactly what you're talking about. We actually had this, and the commissioner was aware of this particular situation, especially on that day. I know that was an incredibly busy day. One of the things is that we have addressed it with that site. So they are, and hopefully going forward, we would never have a situation like that. And what I've seen in the site that I went to when I went to get the rapid test is they did pull out people who were on that line that were more vulnerable because of their disabilities or because of their age, but they also had priorities for the children and the teachers that worked in schools. And so I did see that where I was. I
Excuse
don't
me,
know.
Maria
and
Melissa,
Melissa, we do.
I'm sorry to interject this. We do have some people.
We need the chairperson.
Person,
She's leaving in
leaving
less
us in
than
a few
15 minutes. Melissa, Maria,
Maria.
I have to let Joyce get back to finish her report.
Okay, no problem. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
And we can get back because I don't have a problem.
But then we don't have a problem. It's just that
No problem.
this is serious.
We
But
agree.
We agree. But and I agree with Melissa 100%. You and I discussed this in the past. I just want to because there's someone I know had a question for Joyce. And Joyce, are you still there?
Where are you, Joyce?
Joyce.
Joyce.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute.
Okay.
Okay.
Joyce, a question came up on the chat and also came from the text message from here, because they were their system is acting weird on their computer just went. The question is if you're going to do a Save committee, can you please let them know? And I know this answer already as well, but can you please let them know when you're going to do the meetings? Because some people are asking, please try not to do it like short notice, like a day closer that week or 2 weeks from then.
Chris, as soon as I get people interested, we will send out.
And I was waiting for you to say that, Joyce. Yes.
I will send out a save the date as soon as people email me with their interest.
Yes, and they're asking, can you please put the chat on your email, please?
Your email in the chat.
I did. It's already in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you, Joyce. You have one more thing you said you wanted to bring up.
Yes, no, I just wanted to thank everybody for joining and wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. And hopefully here's to a better times to come.
Joyce, from your mouth to God's ear, and I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
So if you need to ask Joyce a question, please put it in the chat because Ms. Levin will be having to leave soon. She's a far more busier chairperson than I am at the moment, and Joyce, whatever questions and volunteers I get to go for the Legislative Committee, as you know, you always have Christopher, myself, and my full council most likely will step up to the plate to help you with this.
I appreciate that, and I'll put my email in the chat again as well.
Thank you so much because everyone asks us over and over.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, you want to do your report?
Let me do my report and then we'll let Gavin say that. Okay. This is now the advisory council. First, I want to tell you that I did meet at the beginning of the month with the statewide. We only met for 2 hours. And one thing I need to clear up, the only ones they ever allowed to speak is actually the actual members of the council. That's not my rule. I did request they have to set up again a public session. But the chairperson is Margaret Pudding-Tinchy, and I discussed this, and she will bring this up. We were briefed about the 20% cuts. We weren't too thrilled with that, of course. We're also having to deal with, we have to let Albany know which family support services do we think are so important that we can't live without. Now, there's one problem. We live in the New York City region. Is a very crowded, dense population. Not the worst thing. But we have upstate, because we go all the way out to right to where Lake Erie. The problem we have is different parts of the DDROs, because let me tell you, one DDRO could cover 6 counties. They have different needs. So what we're probably going to do, and I have already spoken with members of the advisory council, we're suggesting that each of the local councils discuss what programs are most important for them, that you cannot do without at all, because we know our areas the best. So we will be working with the chairperson of the statewide advisory, Mrs. Margaret Puddington. I will get back to everybody about how it's going. I also thank all the families who've been letting me know how things are going. I know it's not easy. And we are going to work together because we know we can go to Lucy when we have an issue with our services, but I tell everyone, please, if you're having problems, first contact your care coordinator. If that doesn't work, get a hold of their supervisor. Of course, you can always email the advisory council. And if it's so serious, I always contact Lucy. I also do contact our family support coordinator, Angela Blake, and her supervisor, Henry Njimbe, to make sure they know what is going on. Now, we will continue to do joint meetings with the Brooklyn DD Council as long as we need to stay virtual because it's a lot easier and safer because we realize that even though you're working from home, it doesn't mean things are easy. It probably can be even more difficult. So that's why we're trying to cut back and do meetings together because we are capable of getting information together. My only question I have, and I know everyone's answering me now, I'd appreciate if you put it in the chat. If you need us to ever do an evening meeting, please let us know. Let us know through the chat or you email the advisory council. What evenings may be best for you? What times would be best for you? Because if we have to repeat and do certain meetings at nighttime to catch up so more families or staff that couldn't do it during the day, we will hear you and see what we can do to accommodate you. And with that, I finished my report. I'm keeping it short and to the point.
And just to remind everyone, the next joint meeting is Wednesday, December 16th. We do not have a topic at this moment. We will let you guys know on that. And I'm going to thank everyone who's putting on the chat right now. Just to remind everyone, it's the same code that you came on and the same code you get on next month. So please remember, the code is, the meeting ID number is like somewhat like a phone number. But remember, please put in ringcentral.com/join.
As you see,
join.
Meeting
No.
ID.
No. Join, and then they'll ask you for the meeting ID number, which is here. Please make sure. For phone people, you do the same. You put your phone number. You put the phone number in, then the meeting ID number and pound. So please, everyone, please make sure that you get it. Now, someone is asking me a question. Chris, can you please send the link to the council's website? That is always on our website. It's in the meeting and events page.
And please remember that the Brooklyn DD Council does not have a website at the moment. We are assisting them. So any of the subcommittees like children, care coordination, transition will be listed on the advisory council as fast as we can when we get the dates.
So does anyone have any questions on Deborah's report? And I mean the advisory council's report and statewide report. And remind everyone, you can raise your hand. If you're on the phone, *9 to raise your hand. Wow, you guys are good.
Thank you. I probably
yes.
It's clear and to the point.
But if you're not sure, you have a question later, you can always put it in the chat and Debbie will answer as well.
And also, if you hear from your family, please, about family support services, whether they're the full 100% state services that are paid by state dollars,
okay,
let us know.
Okay. To answer that question, Joyce's email, which I already just said, I know she said it a few minutes ago, and I'm putting it back on again. Thank God I know how to copy and paste it. That is Joyce's email, joyce.levens@heartshare.org is her email. Please use it very wisely. And I think you all know our email address is right here in this beautiful yellow and blue color in the nice nighttime Brooklyn Bridge moment, and our website. And you can also get the email from our website automatically. Now, 1 second. Every time we're ready to move on, we get. Let's see. Going to remind everyone, if you have an announcement, you can always, we'll be doing announcements in a little bit once we do our committee reports. Now, people already answered questions, so we can move on to, Teresa, are you here from the Children's Committee? I know she was there. Her name is shown twice.
All right.
Hold on. Yeah.
Teresa, are you there?
Teresa, you're there? Just let everyone know, she is the chair of the Children's Committee. She was, and I'm surprised, but not going to be surprised.
Okay, I'll do
Hold on, we got it. Just to let everyone know, the last meeting, Debbie's going to mention part of it, I will also. The last meeting was in November. They meet every second Tuesday. So
the last meeting for the Children's Committee was on November 10th. Our chairperson is Teresa.
Don't worry.
The Furio's next. The Fury. Now our next one will be the second Tuesday. That should be December 8th.
Mm-hmm.
We did discuss issues that are relating to early intervention, preschool. We're also discussing when children vote transition from early intervention, preschool, into regular education, it's not general, but from ages 5 to 21. And then, of course, we formed, because we realized our children don't become legal adults until age 18. So the Children's Committee is going to deal with all these transition issues. Yes, we understand, we're not going to take the place of the Transition Committee. That will be, do have the meeting information for that.
We'll be moving on just a second.
But we are discussing issues and problems that are happening with the early intervention as well as preschool and when children leave from preschool. So there'll be more topics, but we do need people to join and help us.
Especially if the care coordination agencies are here, please try to attend that meeting as well, because they've been asking as well. And all other agencies are welcome, parents. It'll be good to see you all there. That is the code for that meeting. Please, as I remind everyone, the Children's Committee is every second Tuesday. That's also on our website, and it's on the subcommittees. So let me move on to the next committee, which is care coordination. I'm guessing Rosal is in an emergency right now. The last care coordination meeting, which we did not, they meet every 2 to 3 months. Their next meeting is January 13th, 2021. Speakers and topic to be announced at the December meeting. So, as a reminder, everyone, this information is also available on the website, and it will be emailed again during that time. Now, going for transition to adult, which I'm going to say.
It is going to be tomorrow. Thursday, November 19th, 2020, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's going to be done through Zoom. Mary Christopher is the chairperson.
And co-chair is, I can't say her name.
Where's the co-chair? Tammy. So if Tammy, if you're here.
Tammy from HRC is the co-chair with Mary Christopher. And just to let everyone know, that meeting is tomorrow. If you want to know if their meetings are still on schedule during the other months, they are meeting almost like that Thursday, which would be the third or fourth Thursday, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and they use Zoom. She does send it.
That's the third Thursday they usually meet.
Mm-hmm. So if you have any questions for Mary, please email her this email or give her a call on that.
And it's in the chat.
Yes. Does anyone have any questions on any of the subcommittees? Okay. Then I'm going to move on to the Advisory Council Outreach Update, because we do have some very important things. Is Maria Mark still with me?
Maria, you still here?
Maria, I know I saw her. Oop, I see Joyce. Let's see. I'm guessing Maria got so popular. That's okay. Let's move on to our report, and you're gonna look like, wait, something's different. Yes, Debbie did the Mass Force. Yes, she did. And as you know, Mass Force is still going on tomorrow and next month. The dates to be announced as well. Now, remind everyone again and again and again. As you know, we did have a town hall.
And we thank Maria
We thank Maria
for
Mark.
doing the morning and the
evening,
evening. And I thank my other chairs from Bronx, Ms. Tina Bell, and from Queens, Aaliyah Hussein. We joined, we thanked, we got so much great information from Maria.
Mhm.
She probably had to run to another meeting.
And that is also available on our website as well. And the videos are also available on the YouTube page once you type in my full name or the Bfssac. Easier and you can watch all those videos. Too, you can go, oy. So, now remind everyone, if Maria mentioned coronavirus, and I do want to thank her very much because this is a serious matter. Each borough, and I got to thank, yes, our hospitals, agencies who are doing it, thank you so much. But remind everyone, this is different locations. This, again, will be added to the website beginning the end of this week. So this is the week of test sites. The test site weeks are always changed in the bottom. All the rest are changed over here. So please make sure that your families are taking the tests. Or if they want to do the blood kind, it might be easier. So please make sure. And also very important, please make sure you see your medical doctor. So make sure you're clear for the flu shot. And make sure you stay healthy and strong on that. Now, as you know, this is Maria Mark's information, which she already put on the chat. And again, if you also can contact 311 or text 311, it's 311-692. So please, everyone, make sure you have all that information as well. And I do want to thank the Mayor's Community Affairs Unit, as well as the Mayor. I don't have the room for Mayor's Office of People with Disability, but we are working together with everyone. Now, I do want to thank everyone who did vote very much because we did have a really good turnout in the history books. But I have a little something new and upgrading to everyone. As you see, the Board of Election has now, instead of you getting your ballot in the mail, you can do it right on this computer. How can you do that? Ariel, which is, yes, I'm not joking, her name is Ariel, ADA coordinator for the American Disability Act, ADA. Is always you can always email her, and she can always help you to get that ballot from your email. And then you could just vote from the computer. It's like the BMD has now upgraded to your computer. You just click, click, click who you want. Then you print it out. And guess what? You get the envelopes. You have a choice of you want to mail it. I would say don't even try that. You want to bring it to your polling sites, any polling sites, or the main board election office in Brooklyn, or any of the boroughs. So this information is available. And I know people are chatting a lot today, which is very good. I like that. Main thing is please make sure you have this board of election stuff. Now I got to get to the good news, sad parts, and as I'm watching it at the same time. Yes, thanks to Melissa, who did mention earlier too, which does take a lot of the pressure. As you know, 59th Street in Brooklyn is now open for elevator service. And I tell you right now, if you get a chance to go in, take a good smell, because it's a fresh elevator, because you're never going to smell a fresh elevator again. We had a lot of elected officials from city, state, and federal. And Melissa was there, as well as the Congresswoman.
As her boss, Congresswoman Nidhi Velazquez, who did so much to make sure the funding came down also from the federal government. And the only one name I remember is Councilman Carlos Menchaca, who is the councilman for that area, because he also fought.
Yeah.
So let's go to the other.
Okay, Mass Force. Some of you have been asking me, how can I sign up for Mass Force? There are so many ways. In the bottom of this, you can sign up, as you see right here, go bit.ly/mask-force. You can do that way. Questions, you can always email them massforce@mta.info. Yes, and I put it December 2020 because that is the next one. Unfortunately, for this month, they're full. Unless they do walk-ins, I have no idea. And if I get that information, you all will be notified on that. So please make sure. And yes, you get a shirt like I'm wearing. Well, I'm wearing the summer one. And you get a vest. Now, remind everyone, once you get that shirt, you need to keep it with you and the vest. And it cannot be played around, which I don't play around with vests. If I do, I get shot by a lot of people, especially the one next to me. The main thing is the Mask Force is available all 5 boroughs and might be soon going and Long Island Railroad and Metro North. Now, as you know, with the budget going on with MTA, and they're speaking as we speaking right now, the MT right now, this is a question marks. And why I'm going to say question marks, I want you to hear when I say question marks. It is between 50% subways and buses, 40% of Metro North and Long Island Railroad, and 8,000 layoffs. As the Congress, you heard before, is the federal government / state owes between $12 to $2 million. It's more than anyone realizes. And the only thing we have to keep doing is please remind our elected officials from state and federal to please we don't want to have to go back 10 years ago. I don't want to have to hear that word. And I'm going to say the word cut. We don't know what they're going to do, and the more information comes up, you will be notified. If I was you, go on to the MTA's Google page and look at the board meeting. It's better to hear from them than the news. All right. Now let's get to good news. Our next advisory council outreach update, we'll be discussing the Omni, because the half-fare, reduced fare Omni is coming up in December 2nd. We ask everyone to please try to get on by 10:15. We start at 10:30. We will have a speaker about the half-fare Omni to give everyone a chance to get on, study it, how to use between the regular Omni card, which is the full fare, and the half-fare Omni. And this Omni is going to be very, very powerful. So everyone, please make sure you get that date in. I send it out an email. I will be sending this out. It doesn't matter which borough they're from. They need to know. Let's rock and roll with the new card. And remind everyone, please make sure that everyone's reduced fare card is up to date with the email address on it. It will be easier so they can control the card. And this is going to be easier for agencies' group homes, because that means you can recharge their card right on this computer as well. And that's the only tips I'm giving out on that. Now, does anyone have any questions for me on what I just did? I know Matthew had a question about something. Matthew?
Hi, Chris. My question earlier before was, will there be an updated Brooklyn Family Support Guide soon?
Lucy answered your question. She's going to follow up with that. That's being investigated, and I can't. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all we can say, Matthew.
I'm asking you, because you had a question about me about Omni.
I don't think I did.
On my text, it says about the Omni question.
No, I didn't ask about Omni.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, just to let you know, if we get a new guidebook, I will let you know. Remember, we did not have a family support fair this year.
Thank you.
But you can count the super outreach. All right, let me get here. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. Is there any way to make this larger? Melissa, you had a question for me, because I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, the font in the chat is really small. Is there a way to make it bigger?
No, that's not me. That's something on the chat thing. The only way you can actually increase it is there's a box in the middle, and you can make it enlargement. But anything else, once it goes in, that has to be linked to your computer end on that. But you do have a good point on that. But that's something in technology world they have to upgrade.
Yeah, no, it lets me make the window bigger, but not the font. All right, guys, thank you.
No problem. But I do thank you, Melissa, at the 59th Street 4th Avenue.
Yes, Melissa, I'm thanking you too. Because as you notice, I'm still using my walker. Didn't get permission to go up and down steps. So it's appreciative because now I don't have to worry about falling down. And I have another place to get home if I can't get home another way. Thank you.
Yeah. And that was actually like everybody's work together. That wasn't even that was people getting together and making those demands to the MTA.
Yep.
You know, like what, like 4 years ago.
Oh, no,
I mean,
no,
all
Melissa,
along.
I've
but-
been doing that longer because you see, I was raised by a parent with disabilities. So I was growing up in the 60s and she was telling elected officials, and I, as her child, was learning. And the older I got, I always did that. So I've
Yeah.
been trying to get elevators since the 1960s more.
Yes. But
But I
also,
thank you for your participation and your advocacy too. My late mother, if she was here, she'd be growing you big kids.
she'll be happy because because let me tell you right now, there is still a list for stations. 36th Street is still on the list, but as a reminder, everyone, because of the budget, no, it's not. They're not taking it off the list. Whoever make that room on the new station, it needs to be prior. It's called as G, who was there at 59th Street, is putting it on hold. That means that's saving a person's life on that as well. So, does anyone else have additional questions for me on any of the outreach updates? Because I will move on to announcements. And I know Jessica Williams is dying to make an
Okay.
announcement.
Go ahead, Jessica.
Jessica Williams?
Yes, hi, good morning, everyone. I have the green light.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can hear you loud and clear. Even I think.
Okay, great. I have about like 2 minutes and then I have to get on another
Okay, go ahead.
day. So good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Williamson. I am an intake and outreach specialist at Tri-County Care. I work closely with District 75 students, parents, and parent coordinators, also in the upstate area, all the boroughs. We are helping everyone to get enrolled at Tri-County Care so they may have a care manager. We are helping families through the process from beginning to end. It does not matter where the parent or where the child is in the enrollment process. For example, if the parent does not have the evaluations, we help them get the appointment. We're working with all of the families and doing our best to make sure that they have a successful enrollment and get services that they really, really need in a timely manner. You can reach me at 844-504-8400. My extension is 9298. I'm looking forward to helping parents or anyone who has general questions. Give me a call or email me. My email is in the chat as well. You guys be safe, stay warm, and have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And
Appreciate
Jessica,
it.
happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Be safe and be well.
Yes. And Jessica, before you leave, please make sure you try to attend, or someone from your agency attends the Children's Committee, please. Oh, look. Hi, Jessica. Nice to see you.
Hello again, Jessica. So yes, it's very important. It's important for you as care coordinate agencies to please come to a lot of these, the different subcommittees like the Children's Committee, because you do need to get these kids signed up. But it's
As
also
long as I can
self-advocate.
my calendar, and if I'm not available that day, I will have someone else on there.
Fine.
That's the plan.
No problem.
That's my plan. Touchdown.
You guys sent me the information, right?
I did already. It's been sent out already.
Okay, good. So I will go through it, and I'll make sure if I can't make it, someone else will be there for sure. Thank you so much for that.
No
And,
problem. Enjoy the Thanksgiving.
okay.
Enjoy
Bye,
that
Dad.
turkey. Okay, I know someone has their hands up, and I'm going to say thank you. Who is 917-524-4856? Please identify yourself. And I love
Juliet Hawkins from New York State Institute on Disability.
Hello, hello, Julie.
Hi. I just wanted to make an announcement in terms of our crisis intervention behavioral program. In Brooklyn, we have openings. I know that a lot of parents are under stress with the behaviors of their sons and daughters, especially being home with this COVID pandemic. We have openings to support parents in dealing with those behaviors, whether they're in crisis or they don't even have to be in crisis, but are afraid that it's going to turn into a crisis. And they have to have OPWDD eligibility, but they don't have to be waiver. So it's a family support program, and they can contact me, 917-524-4856. We have openings, and we encourage people to apply. We also have other openings in our agency. I will let Doris Khan make that announcement.
Hi, good morning. I'm Doris Khan. I'm the Outreach Coordinator for NYSID, New York State Institute on Disability. And in addition to openings in our crisis management service, we have openings for remote psychological and psychosocial evaluations for individuals who do not have Medicaid. The contact number is Liz Sunshine at 917-699-6457. And I put that number in the chat. We also have family reimbursement for goods and services that are not covered by Medicaid. And for more information about that, contact Jack.
Doris, I'm sorry, this is Juliet. You gave the wrong number for Elizabeth Sunshine. It's 917-699-0578.
Okay, that's not the number I have. Okay.
Okay.
Can I suggest then you guys please send me that email, so which number it is?
Okay, I'll send you the correction to that number.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And, well, Jackie's number is 929-202-1115.
That I know.
1 second.
And Dolores, since you're looking at that number, I have a message for you.
Just checking the number right now.
Yeah.
And we also have, well, we also give reimbursement for recreation outings and some lessons like art lessons, music lessons, swimming lessons. But because of COVID restrictions, so the tickets for these outings are limited to the COVID restrictions. We also have openings for transportation services for individuals that need transportation services for either a medical appointment or to attend one of these recreation activities. And for transportation, you can contact John O'Grady at 917-747-9424. I put all this information in the chat, and that's all my announcements for today. I am checking that phone number that I have.
Dolores, this is
I have her number.
Dolores, this is Chris. I have a message to you from another borough. Said thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And this is from which borough I'm talking about, from the other end of the B line, the BX.
Okay, excuse me.
Okay, yeah.
Is this number correct? 917?
I'm checking it.
999-0578 for
Yeah,
Elizabeth
that is
Sunshine?
the right number. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Juliet, for correcting that, because my other colleague sent me the contact numbers, and that's the number. I have to make a correction and say
No problem. I have the number, so I'll have Chris make corrections for you.
Yeah. Well, it's already on the recording. So let me get to the next person.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, because I got a lot of people raising their hands. This is a miracle day. ALLY, you're next, and then Sandy's next. Your mic is on. You can speak. And I don't hear you.
Can't hear.
Don't hear nothing. Only thing I hear is air.
Hi, hello, hi, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
And you are?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Ali Nekhtala. I'm calling from, I'm joining from Anchor Health. We are a home care agency. We provide home health aides to both adults and children, especially right now during the pandemic. It might be difficult for some families in regards to just assisting their individuals. We can have a health aide come in and assist with daily functioning. And also one of the key components about our aides that makes us very different is that they're behaviorally health trained and they are supervised by a licensed clinical social worker, and I am that person. I used to be the director of clinical service at Advanced Care Alliance. I also am an adjunct professor at both Charo and NYU. And so I train and supervise them and being more aware of the behavioral health that comes up for individuals when they're dealing with them in the home. So if you have an individual that you feel like needs home care services, I can be reached at 347-709-9181, or my email address is psych, that's PSYCH1325 @gmail.com. Also, I'd like to send a flyer with this information and also the referral process. Whom can I email this to?
You can, as I said earlier, it's actually right on top of the screen here. You can send it to that email, and it will be forwarded on the email, and it will be added to the website.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't see, I'm looking at the screen right now, I don't see an email address.
Email address is BF.
You don't see the word announcements, type up on chat and email us at
No, I don't.
bfssac@yahoo.com.
Wait, can you repeat that? BS.
B is in
B
boy,
is in boy, F is in food, S is in son, one more S is in son, A is in apple, C is in cat, @yahoo.com. And I am Deborah
Awesome.
Greif, the chairperson, and Christopher Greif is the corresponding secretary.
And vice chair of the Brooklyn DD Council.
So you're the corresponding secretary for the advisory council, but for the DD council, you're the vice chair and I'm the secretary.
Okay.
Well, thank
Let
you
me-
so much for having me and just giving me the space to introduce Anchor Health. You know, I think that we can, you know, definitely help people in a very deep, meaningful way. We're very person-centered and compassionate in the way we provide our services. And I definitely would like to.
There's
send that
also a
information.
question for you before you leave. There's a question. Melissa, you had a question?
No, I thought everybody was done speaking. I was just gonna bow gracefully and excuse myself from the rest of the meeting.
Oh no, it's okay. You got we understand, Melissa. You got, but I'll send you the email. We'll let you know when the recording is done, and you get the copy of it.
Great. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank
too.
you,
Thank you,
Melissa.
and happy Thanksgiving to you and Congresswoman Velazquez.
Thank you to all of you as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now,
Okay, thank you.
no problem. And let me get to Sandy, neighbor.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sandy Naper from Adapt Community Network. And
Where are you, Sandy? I only see you. Now I see your face.
Oh, now you see me?
Yes.
Am I
Yeah, because you're disappearing on the.
Go ahead. Just do your lovely announcements. Okay.
Okay. We have some great news at Adapt. We're having a new Family Connect workshop. It's going to be on Tuesday, November 24th from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be virtual. And the subject is going to be a very important one, creating structure and routine while at home. I know a lot of families are struggling at home, getting their kids to do all their homework and do their lessons. So Ramapo for Children is going to be the presenter. They're really good presenters. And the way to register is email familyconnect@adaptcommunitynetwork.org or call 718-436-7979 extension 704. I put that in the chat. Also, we have family reimbursement in all boroughs except Queens. And you can contact us at Project Connect at adaptcommunitynetwork.org or call 877-827-2666. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Sandy.
See, we rhyme. We can. We're
Nick, you're
Nick.
next.
Hello.
Nick.
Hello. Good morning.
Morning. Oh, there he
Hi.
is. Nice house.
Hi, Nick.
Hi. I'm Nick Labruna from Partners Health Plan. I'm Outreach Associate with us, and we are a specialized health insurance plan for adults 21 and over who have both Medicare and Medicaid. We're doing a lot in this day and age to promote health and wellness. I put some information previously in the chat about member health library and learning table events that people can log into, see the past recordings, go to future meetings. And if you want to learn more about Partners Health Plan, I'll put my information in the chat. And we also started doing monthly events online to learn more information about what we have to offer. So thank you very much, and everyone stay safe.
And happy Thanksgiving for you
Happy
too, Nick.
Thanksgiving.
Happy
too.
And
Thanksgiving.
if you hear from Anna, the mysterious Anna, let her know no jaywalking in Long Island, please.
Okay. No jaywalking.
Remember, I'm on the Long Island River 88 Task Force. I do have to check trains. Safety. So,
Okay.
let me get on to our next person, Terry. Terry. You're up. Your hand is up.
Hi, this is Terry. I'm from Adapt Community Network.
Wow, we're getting a love of Daps. Daps loves me today.
I actually need some help. I work in Doorways to Independence, and I do home modification and repairs. I have some grants available for small projects all over the borough, which is the New York State Access to Home grant. And I do have some grants left over for Queens. So if you have anyone in mind who needs home modification and repairs, please call me or actually send an email to Project Connect at adaptcommunitynetwork.org. Thank you.
And before before you go, can you please put that on the chat?
I will.
Because you know I love sharing information and people, and that's why everyone's slots go so full.
Okay.
And
Thank you very much.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Let me check. Does anyone else have an announcement? Wait a minute. Someone disappeared. I'm a little surprised. No, I'm not going to be surprised because he wrote it already. Okay. No one else have any announcements? Okay. So therefore, I'm going to go to our final reminder announcements, which you know, everyone, please make sure if you have an event coming up or something coming up or a pantry between Thanksgiving or Christmas, please email us at that email address, and we will make sure that it's being shared. And it will be also announced even between this meeting and the next meeting as well. But also remind everyone, make sure you do that. And now I'm going to remind everyone, please remind your families to go do a coronavirus test at all times. Information is here. Maria Mark is a great arsenal, and I can tell you, she's getting a lot of credit. And I'm going to say that for a reason, because we did a town hall. We thank her so much with the Bronx and Queens combined. That video is still available on our website, so please make sure you get that detail and watch the video, because you may need some arsenal weaponry. It might help. Now, I did mention earlier the Omni. I encourage all of you, and I repeat, all everyone should be attending this, because in the next year, we are going to upgrade to reduced fare only. So please, everyone, please make sure that you please do that and attend Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020. Again, it will be at 10:15. We will be starting at 10:30 sharp. We're getting a speaker from MT Omni. It wasn't easy, but I got it also. So please, everyone, please attend that. And remind everyone, the next joint meeting is, the next one is December 16th. It's again, that's a Wednesday. And just remind everyone, the Ring Central, you can get on at 9:30. Some of you did, I thank you. Meeting will start at 9:55 to remind you of the housekeeping rules, which some people are new, but you got to make sure your microphones are working, your camera is working. It's called test, 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 wobble, wobble, wobble. And remind everyone, our office number, Ann Menino can vouch with me, does check the voice messages almost 4 times during the regular business day, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And she does check the voice message, and we do respond back as soon as possible. Please be patient, because everyone's got to, please remind everyone, we're not the only ones we have to return calls. We're returning a lot of calls. Emails does go faster, and our website is always updated every weekend. Except will not be updated on Thanksgiving weekend, because some people need to, you know what I mean?
No, we need to take a break too.
Okay. Now, I know someone's microphone just went off. Whatever. Does anyone have a question for me? Oh, Ann, you want to say something? I just saw Ann.
That's okay.
Okay. Well, just to remind everyone, I want to wish everyone a happy
and a healthy
and safe
Thanksgiving.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Yeah, now she wants to speak.
Now you're talking, Ann?
Now you're talking.
Yes. What do you want to say?
What do you want to say on the recording?
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Yes.
And same to
you.
you.
So,
and everybody,
Thank you.
wish you all, thank you, a very healthy
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanksgiving. Thank you, everybody.
See you soon.
So,
Bye.
Bye.